It is no secret, yet it bears repeating. Every whisper, every anonymous source, every scandalous headline aimed at Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry can be traced back to a single source: the gilded corridors of Kensington Palace. Behind the polished stone facades, where portraits of stoic monarchs stare down with cold indifference, a more insidious drama has been unfolding. A drama powered by envy, obsession, and a hunger to control the narrative. For years, the palace's corridors have echoed with the quiet, calculated machinations of those threatened by Meghan Sussex's very existence. Her rise to global prominence, her magnetic charisma, and her ability to command attention in a world already enamored with royalty has triggered a reaction that is as predictable as it is pitiful: jealousy. And not just any jealousy, but a venomous, almost pathological envy that has found its outlet in the media. Consider the mechanics of this operation. Every carefully crafted leak, every insider revelation about Meghan Sussex's supposed missteps, every portrayal of Prince Harry as the beleaguered, misunderstood royal, all of it has emanated from a palace that has historically been obsessed with optics over honesty. Kensington Palace has perfected the art of the anonymous tip-off, where carefully timed stories drip into the press to shape public perception, creating a narrative that suits the palace's preferred version of events. What is truly astonishing is how predictable these attacks are. Meghan Sussex excels in confidence, modernity, and media savvy, qualities that make her a star on a scale even Diana could only dream of achieving. And yet, instead of celebrating these qualities, the palace machine has sought to undermine her at every turn. The irony is sharp. The very institution built on tradition and duty has been corrupted by insecurity and pettiness, targeting the one person daring enough to challenge its suffocating norms. The envy directed at Meghan Sussex is not subtle. Kensington Palace, it seems, cannot tolerate the idea that someone outside the traditional royal mould could eclipse the long-preferred heirs and their consorts in influence, in popularity, or in global reach. Meghan Sussex's presence exposes the stagnation, the entitlement, and the lack of charisma that has long plagued the palace's inner circle. It is this exposure, more than anything else, that has fueled the palace-fed narrative of vilification. The stories about her supposed rudeness, her alleged manipulations, her unfit behaviour as a royal, are not based in reality. They are the product of a palace desperate to regain control of a narrative that refuses to bend to its will. Every report, every damning anecdote has been strategically crafted to distract from the real scandal, the palace's own insecurities and failures. Prince Harry, meanwhile, has borne the brunt of this orchestrated campaign. Loyal to his wife and fiercely protective of his family, he became an easy target for palace machinations. By framing him as volatile, misinformed, or undisciplined, the palace sought to isolate him from public sympathy. But the truth, as the world has witnessed, is that Harry's only crime was loving Meghan Sussex fiercely and refusing to be complicit in a toxic, manipulative system. Harry's exile, an exile steeped in palace gossip, calculated leaks, and subtle threats, was not the consequence of his actions, but of the palace's need to maintain an illusion of control. Every palace-backed headline casting him as unreasonable or reckless was an attempt to strip him of credibility, to make his very presence a liability in a royal story that thrives on illusion and obedience. It would be naive to blame the media alone. The press has simply become a tool for palace ambitions, a megaphone for private grievances. Kensington Palace's leaks are carefully curated to provoke outrage, scandal, and moral panic. The palace does not merely feed the press stories, it feeds the press lies cloaked as truths. And the public, conditioned to believe in the sanctity and infallibility of royalty, consumes these stories with a voracious hunger. Every mischaracterization of Meghan Sussex has been meticulously engineered. Her wardrobe choices, her public statements, even her smiles have been weaponized. The palace's obsession with image becomes almost comical when contrasted with the moral decay underlying these calculated assaults. To disparage Meghan Sussex is to admit, perhaps unconsciously, that she is untouchable in her brilliance, too smart, too visible, too uncontainable to fit into the stale confines of palace expectation. The palace's animus towards Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry underscores a broader cultural failure. Here is an institution that prides itself on heritage, on duty, on continuity, yet it cannot tolerate evolution or excellence that originates outside its own circle. Meghan Sussex embodies modernity, intelligence, compassion, charisma, and global awareness. And in the palace's eyes, that modernity is a threat, not an asset. The irony is almost Shakespearean. The very qualities that make Meghan Sussex a beacon in the modern age, the qualities that draw admiration from millions, are precisely the qualities that have rendered her a target within Kensington Palace. The institution that claims to embody dignity and honour has instead revealed itself as petty, insecure, and fundamentally incapable of handling honesty or competition. It is easy to reduce this saga to headlines or royal gossip, but beneath the spectacle lies a human tragedy. Meghan Sussex, an intelligent and capable woman, has been forced to endure a relentless barrage of character assassination. Prince Harry, the devoted husband and father, has been exiled and vilified for choosing family over palace politics. The royal family's obsession with control, power, and reputation has come at an incalculable cost to real lives. Every leak, every palace-engineered story is a dagger aimed not just at public perception, but at the very essence of human dignity. The cruelty of these campaigns is magnified by the fact that they are, well, unnecessary. Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry posed no real threat to the monarchy. The only threat they represented was to the palace's self-image, a fragile, brittle construct that could not survive being shown up by intelligence, compassion, and public adoration. What is most infuriating is the lack of accountability. The architects of these smear campaigns remain unnamed, protected by layers of privilege, secrecy, and media complicity. The very system that prides itself on moral authority continues to operate without scrutiny, without consequence. Kensington Palace has weaponized the press to shield itself from criticism while simultaneously destroying the reputations of those who dared challenge its narrative. And yet, amidst this chaos, Meghan Sussex stands unbroken. Every attempt to smear her, to diminish her, to erase her influence has only amplified her presence. The palace may have its secrets, its leaks, and its gossip, but Meghan Sussex wields the far more powerful tools of intelligence, grace, and authenticity. Her story is one of resilience against an institution that has long weaponized privilege against those who dare to shine. It's tempting to dismiss all of this as just royal drama, a series of petty feuds in a gilded cage. But honestly, to do so is to miss the real lesson here. The palace's attacks reveal not Meghan Sussex's flaws, but its own. Every lie, every leak, every orchestrated headline is, in fact, a mirror held up to Kensington Palace, reflecting envy, fear, and insecurity. And, well, the reflection is rather ugly. Kensington Palace's campaign against Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry is not merely a story about royal scandal. It is, frankly, a case study in institutional insecurity. The palace's obsession with control, its weaponization of the press, and its relentless attacks on anyone who dares to challenge its narrative have all been exposed for the entire world to see. Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry have endured exile, misrepresentation, and vilification. But in doing so, they have illuminated the palace's weaknesses with a brilliance that simply cannot be ignored. The palace may continue to leak, manipulate, and smear. It may perhaps continue to cling desperately to power and image. But Meghan Sussex remains unassailable in her integrity, her influence, and yes, her courage. The more the palace schemes, the more it reveals itself, not as a bastion of honour, but as an institution threatened by the very qualities it cannot possess: authenticity, brilliance, and the power to inspire. In the end, the truth is really quite simple. The palace lies, the palace schemes, and the palace obsesses. Meghan Sussex endures, shines, and rises. And history, with its unflinching memory, will remember who truly belonged in the light.